The following is part 2 of a 2-part series with Shannon Tripp from the Montcalm Area Career Center. Welcome to the Discover Montcalm podcast, where we're going to take a look at the communities, the businesses, the attractions, and the people that make up Montcalm County. There's been some confusion about our neighbor. The Montcalm Area
For 40 years.
Yeah, the Montcalm Area Career Center sits right next to the Montcalm Community College.
Yeah.
And there is a big difference, between the two. Can you enlighten us?
Yes, so I'll start off by saying they're a fabulous partner. You know, we've been able to do many things in partnership with each other. For example, some of our Career Center students take some classes over there as part of their program here. However, the biggest difference is we are strictly for high school students. So 11th and 12th grade primarily, occasionally a 10th grader comes out, but we don't have any adults in our classes. These are not college classes. These are high school level classes strictly for high school students.
We're part of the Montcalm Area Intermediate School District.
Yes.
And that's the big difference, the community college, and we're part of the Intermediate School District, which services what districts?
So all 7 districts in our county in different ways. So the ISD is really kind of, if you think of a hub and a wheel, the ISD is that hub. So the ISD puts together programs that individual districts wouldn't be able to afford to do on their own. So if you think about our programs here at the Career Center, a school the size of Vestaburg or Montebello wouldn't be able to offer these 10 or 11 programs to students at their high school. And so the ISD runs this building and offers everything that we have here to all of our schools in our county. And so it's kind of the economy of scale. You know, we can do a lot of really good things if we pool our resources together. And the community college is entirely separate. They're run by the college. The ISD has nothing to do with what they do on their campus. It's nice that we're in close proximity, but sometimes that gets confusing for people in the community.
They're a great partner.
Absolutely.
And both the Career Center and the community college are doing great things within the community. Want to also note here that you don't have to be going to one of the schools. You could be a homeschooler.
Absolutely.
And still come to the Career Center, and you do it through your local district.
Yeah, so you would still enroll at a local, but you could enroll for half a day and still do half a day homeschool, half a day at the local, but the nice part is you don't actually attend that local, you just come right out here to us. So our students are here half a day every day, and so homeschool students can access just by enrolling at a local district, but not actually attending there.
Right, there's paperwork.
Yep.
Let's take a walkthrough tour of the Career Center right now, because we've got a bunch of programs here. I'll let you start. Maybe we'll just start as you walk in the door.
Just do it as we're going through the building?
As you walk in the door in the main entrance, it says the MACC, M-A-C-C. You walk in, and right to your left as you walk in is?
The Digital Arts program, so that's your program. This is our newest program, so just started 3 years ago. Well, this is the 3rd year. Started off very small, which I think was a fabulous way to go, because then it allowed it to grow slowly, and I think that's always the healthiest way. Too fast, too much can be bad. But now it really has grown, and I think next year we're going to have 2 sections that are going to be very full. I feel like this is a program that may end up with a waiting list, because it is our only program that's in that arts and communications pathway. So it's for students who have that kind of creative soul and need an outlet for that. And so the students in here, and you can speak to this better than I can, kind of focus on photography, videography, web page design, social media posting. That's a whole job now. For a large enough company, they hire someone just to be their social media presence. And so these are kind of emerging jobs, which is exciting. So lots of things that kids are going to be able to do that 10 years ago weren't even a thing.
And I think that's the beauty of the Career Center in general, is that they can come in and they can get a bird's eye view of a lot of different things. They get good skills and they get certifications in some cases. They can get college credit in certain cases, but it's something that's a building block for
Yep.
them, because I know, like in digital arts, there are so many different programs they can go into. This is just giving them a touch. So just down the hall from digital arts,
Educational careers. So this is one of our programs that you're not going to leave here and go get a job as a teacher. So this one requires that you continue on in college. But the thing I love about this program is kind of what we talked about with the try it before you buy it. I have heard horror stories of people getting their bachelor's degree in education, and then when they go to do their student teaching, they find out that they hate it. That is not the time to find out that you hate what you just spent 4 years and thousands of dollars being trained to do. And so the students out here take first semester in the classroom with our instructor, learn a lot of information, a lot of child development, a lot of learning education pedagogy, and figuring out how do you write a good lesson plan and what all goes into that. And then second semester, they go out, and the time that they would normally be in class here, they are with a classroom teacher in their district, typically elementary level, because we don't want high schoolers with high schoolers. Some students do middle school level, but then they get to see for a full semester, is this really what they want to do? Do I like being a teacher? Do I think I would want to do this for the rest of my life, before they go and spend 4 years working toward that?
just down the hall from that, we talked a little bit about health.
Yep.
It's got 2 programs now.
Yeah. So until 2 years ago, you took health for 1 year and then you had no other option. You could come back to the health program and do work-based learning, which just means kind of the same thing that I just talked about with educational careers. You're enrolled in a class here, but you really go to the workplace every day when you're supposed to be in class. So we had students that were saying, we really want to do something, you know, some second year piece. And so first year they come in, they end up at the end of the year with their CNA license, so Certified Nurse's Assistant. They can leave here, go right into the workforce doing that. Second year students now, for the past 2 years, have the option of either doing the work-based learning or they can take our MA program, so medical assisting. And they leave here with a certification in that. In addition to those 2 things, while they're in the MA program, we also partner with MCC and they take a phlebotomy class. And so really those students are leaving high school with 3 areas that they could go directly into the workforce. Or they can decide to go on to college, go into a nursing program, go into an X-ray tech program, go into medical school. I mean, whatever they want to do.
It's a wide open,
yes.
It's like a palette of colors. You can just, whatever you want to do.
Yep.
Across the hall from them, we have public safety.
Yes. So that's, again, kind of a taste of a lot of different things. So public safety can be anything that touches the law, or he also does a very short 2-week fire academy. So if you're interested in being a firefighter, you get a little taste of that. Otherwise, he talks about things that would interest someone who wants to be a lawyer, a corrections officer, a police officer. So anything that kind of is in that whole criminal justice field, you're going to get a little piece of. They also have something really cool called a Milo range. I love that thing. It gives you an opportunity to be in front of, I'm going to say real life, but it's not real. It's a projection. But you have an opportunity to try to de-escalate some situations, because as a police officer, that's really one of your main jobs. You know, you walk into a lot of situations where everyone's emotions are heightened, and your job is to calm everybody down and figure out the best way to have a solution. And so this is the closest you can get to a real world practice in that area.
Round the corner, we have the egg program. And it's kind of nice that you can see bunnies or goats or whatever they happen to bring in.
You can snuggle lots of soft, fuzzy animals. First semester, they really focus on animals, and you learn a lot about different, primarily farm animals. And then second semester, they focus more on the plant life. We have a beautiful greenhouse on the front of our building, so they do a lot of growing their own. And then we have a wonderful plant sale at the end of the year. So if you're interested in any form of agriculture, she also does a lot with landscaping. So if you're thinking landscape design might be where you want to go, you'll get some practice with that as well.
Again, students get to touch a lot of areas to see what they may want to do. CAD and engineering offers CAD and engineering.
Right. So really, when I said 10 or 11 programs, it's because we count this one differently. It's truly 2 programs. So typically if you're coming in for your first year, you take CAD, and that's where you learn how to, well, they start off with paper pencil drawing because it's important that you know kind of those fundamentals, but it's not very long and they're on the computer. And they're doing 2D drawings, they're doing 3D drawings, and then we have 3D printing. And so they can take what they're drawing and make it into a physical piece. And then engineering is typically what our second year students do. And I like to think of engineers are here's our problem, we got to figure out what we can do to fix this problem. And then once they come up with a concept, they hand it to the CAD students and say, okay, you draw this for us and create it for us so that we can see if it really works. And so the best example I have is our engineering students do electric race cars. And so when they've needed a part on their car, they don't want to machine it in steel or whatever they use if they don't know if it's going to work yet, because that gets very expensive. So they 3D print it out of plastic, put it on the car, make sure it's going to work before they actually machine the part for real. And so it's kind of neat to watch that entire process from start to finish.
We hope you're enjoying our podcast, and we'll be back after we thank our sponsors. West Michigan Technology and Design Solutions, your IT and web hosting experts. westmichiganhelpdesk.com. And DW Video, your source for video production, websites, and your local videotape, slides, and 8mm film transfer specialist. dwvideo.com. Now, back to our interview.
And a program that I love to take video and photos of is just down the hall is the welding program.
Yeah.
I mean, you get fire and flame and I mean
Sparks. Yep.
So talk about the welding program.
Yeah, so welding is probably our most popular program, which is great because there's a desperate need for it out in the workplace. So welding, they learn 4 different welding styles or types with different materials, different gases. They learn different methods, so you don't always get to sit comfortably in a chair and weld a straight line. So they learn how to weld overhead. They learn, so lots of different positioning as well. Welding is a physically kind of grueling job, and so he tries to put them through some of the same physical requirements.
Real life.
Yeah,
Real
so they
life.
can see what it's going to be like if that's what you want to do for 30 years. We do have some very huge success stories out of that program. We have students who are working as pipe welders. I mean, they make huge money. So there's a lot of money to be had in that industry right now. Might be why it's kind of popular.
And I've talked to some of the students that work on a farm and they just want to be able to do it themselves.
Yep, absolutely.
So
anytime you can save yourself some money.
Of course. Across the hall, we have a big service area that encompasses 2 programs. Let's start with diesel.
Okay. Diesel is really what it sounds like. You're going to be working on large equipment that is run with the diesel engine. So we often have multiple semis that students work on. We usually have a school bus. We try to simulate what they would be working on out in industry, and those are the 2 major areas where diesel mechanics are needed. Same issue as with welding, we have industry folks coming into our instructors saying, tell them not to even go to college, we'll take them right out of high school. If they've gone through your program, they're going to have some certifications. We know they know some stuff. We want to be able to train them ourselves. We don't want to wait for them to go through a college program.
And we'll pay for that training.
Absolutely. Because they're desperate for the people. In addition to the large pieces of equipment though, he also sneaks in some time for them to do some small engine stuff. So they work on some quads, some lawnmowers, some, just
They've had tractors in.
Yep.
A couple years ago, a student rebuilt an old tractor, which was kind of cool because it's diesel and equipment technology, and they share the same service bay area with the automotive program here.
Yes. So auto, again, exactly what it sounds like. They learn the 8 different areas to work on a vehicle. They also take ASE tests, which gets them, there are 10 of those tests, and then if they do well in those, the instructor lets them start taking the Michigan mechanics exams. So we have had students graduate from high school having passed all 8 Michigan mechanics exams, so they're leaving high school as a master mechanic, which just blows my mind, because I mean that's a skill that sometimes takes people years and years beyond high school, like working in a service industry and getting those certifications as you work at a dealership or someplace. And we have kids leaving high school with that, and it's just wonderful.
In that program and in others where they're getting college, it's paid for through our program here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So they don't have to pay that out of pocket,
right?
Which is great. And just around the corner from the automotive and diesel program is construction. Mm-hmm. And pretty cool because they get to build a house.
Yes, yes.
Talk to us about that.
So they get to see everything from start to finish. So when I was a teacher here, we have the development that's right next door, and our students would go over there and build the house on site, on the land. They'd start with the foundation, build it up. We filled every lot over there. So then a decision had to be made, you know, what are we going to do? Because we want to still simulate, we want the students to still physically build a house, but we don't have property. And so a few years ago, they started building a house on site, but it's built so that it can be split into 2 pieces and then moved.
Kind of like that modular
Yes.
construct, but they're actually, this is all, I mean, it's...
But still stick built,
very much
because
so.
it's not on wheels, and so it's still considered a stick built house, but it does have that same, you know, you see the modulars that are split in half and then set, it's going to be kind of that similar thing. But the first year students are in the program, they learn how to lay a foundation, framing, roofing, windows, siding, and then second year they do all the inside finish work, so plumbing, electrical, drywall, painting, putting in marble countertops, you know, all of that trim, so all of that finish work on the inside.
Everything that's part of a house. I mean, from vinyl siding, they'll get to it, drywall. Yeah, it's pretty cool what they're doing down there.
And it's a 1,300 square foot house, so we're not building like a mini house. I mean, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, full-size family could live in this house.
So once it's built, you can check out, you can go to MACC, you can call the Career Center, because that house will go up for sale.
Yes.
It'll go up for sale, and it will be available for somebody to go purchase.
Because we don't need it.
We
don't need to start our own little development here. We want to get rid of it so we can start another one. So the first time we sold it in an online auction, and I don't know if that's exactly what we'll do this time, but we'll figure it out, and then we'll put some information up.
We're always adapting. We're always adapting. We talked a little bit, you know, anybody in Montcalm County can be part of the Career Center, whether you're going to a district or you're homeschooled. And I think that on occasions we even bring people from Welding, have come up a couple times. You know, so it's wide open. Going to change the topic here just a little bit. In your opinion, why would somebody want to discover Montcalm County?
You know, it's kind of interesting because when I graduate, so just to back up a little bit, I graduated with my business degree, but then decided after a few years that I really wanted to go into education. So I went back to school, got my teaching certificate, which I did not realize I didn't need to teach in the CTE area. I wish I would have known that. You can be a CTE teacher if you've worked in the field for 4,000 hours, which is equivalent to 2 years full time. So I could have just applied for teaching positions. I didn't know, but I'm glad I have the degree is valuable. So I started applying for positions and not knowing even where Montcalm County was. So I grew up in Berry County, which is also very small and not that far away. But when I was asked to come here for an interview, I'd never been in Montcalm County before. And I drove and drove and drove, and I'm like, where is this place? It's a long ways away. But now I have worked in this county, this is my 20th year, and there is so much here. And I am so impressed by what we do in the education field, especially because for such a small rural county, our students have so many options. I mean, they have the Career Center, which is I mean, in my unbiased opinion, an amazing place. They have dual enrollment options because we have this beautiful community college here. They have early college, which when we started our early college in 13-14, there were only about 20 in the whole state.
Okay.
And so we were one of the first people to push that kind of a program forward. And so students really have no reason to leave high school without some college credit because all of the places that they can get it. And it's all paid for them. And so that's one of the things I love about the county. But I also love how community oriented everyone seems to be. So lots of people serve in lots of different places. Everyone cares about what's going on in the county and they want to help and they want to be part of the solution. And I just love that about the county. You know, we have people from law enforcement and education and all the, you know, health and human services all getting together monthly to try to problem solve things. And I don't know that that happens in other counties. And I just think it's a great, really community feeling area.
And it's personal opinion, I like that it's rural.
Yeah.
I like that it's rural, you know, but we have access to bigger cities, not too far away. We've talked about a lot of things so far. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you would like to?
Oh gosh.
I want to make sure I don't forget anything.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess I would just say that I started my career in this building. So I was a business teacher here for 10 years before I went into administration. And so I am very proud of the work that takes place in this building. And I am thrilled every day that I get to show it off. I love to give tours of the building. I'm excited to show it off. I love to talk about what we do here. And so we try to have lots of opportunities for the community to come in and see our building. And so we do sophomore visitation for all the 10th graders to come in. We try to get 2nd graders in the building. We get 8th graders in the building. We just like to show them what we do and show them that this is an option for them. But we also try to allow community to come in. So they can see those dates and find out about those things on our website, MyMACC.com, or our Facebook page. If they start following us on Facebook, we post a lot of things on there. So all the opportunities possible for me to talk about the great things that happen in this building.
And there is, and I know coming from business and coming here and becoming an instructor, you know, it's nice to see what's going on with all my colleagues here and watching the students walk out of here going, wow, we're one step ahead of others that didn't take this path. Even if it's not the degree they're going to go into, it's given them some skills that will follow them forever. Well, there's one thing here. Busy Bee is one of our sponsors, and on behalf of Busy Bee and Discover Montcalm, we want to give you this little cup here. West Michigan Technology and Design Solutions host our website. They're a big sponsor, and as well as DW Video. She talked about watching. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook at Discover Montcalm Podcast, or you can go to discovermontcalmpodcast.com and you can check out everything there. You can catch us on Google Podcast, iTunes. We're out there. Look for us. Anything that you want to know about Montcalm County, my goal, my passion is to be able to tell that story. I want people in Carson City to know what's going on in Howard City and every little community in between. So if you've got a story idea, reach out to me. Shannon, thank you so much for being part of this podcast. Coming into my classroom, which is just across the hall from your office.
It was a long walk.
It was a long walk, but you know, there's a lot of stuff going on in this area, and you know, education being one of them. So we're glad that you kind of gave us that walking tour, and you'd be more than willing to give a physical walking tour.
Absolutely.
Just reach out to us here at the MACC, and thank you again.
Yeah.
Everybody out there, remember to buy and shop locally.
Connect and subscribe to Discover Montcalm Podcast at discovermontcalmpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Discover Montcalm Podcast. To be featured in an upcoming show, contact Dwayne at 231-250-9624. Remember to subscribe at discovermontcalmpodcast.com.